Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to Masters in Fitness Business Podcast, where you get to stand on the shoulders of giants. And on today's show, I have a true giant coming to you. I have Sean Greeley with NPE, Net Profit Explosion. And he runs this company, founded in 2006. They have worked with over 45,000 fitness professionals, helping them improve their business in 97 countries. They have offices in LA, London, and Sydney, Australia. So they are really, truly a worldwide company. And that brings a unique perspective to this show through the eyes of Sean Greeley, because he can see things in other parts of the world that we may not see here isolated in the United States or wherever you're watching the show. So Sean, it's a pleasure to have you on the show. Thanks for coming on.
Yeah, my pleasure. Good to be here. And I'm American. I was born in the U.S., live in LA most of the time, but I'm actually coming from Australia. My family's been down here we actually were here for a family holiday and some events, and now we're just kind of riding this thing out here the next few months. I'm coming from the Gold Coast today in Australia, so great to be speaking with you.
Yeah, the miracle of modern technology. Thank God for Zoom. But we're going to talk about how your business should be operating during this COVID-19 crisis. And you have a unique perspective. When we talked earlier, you were talking about how you saw COVID progressing from country to country. And so you've kind of developed kind of a timeline, so to speak. So you want to share that with the listeners?
Yeah, so being a global company with, businesses we serve all over the world, we saw this first start happening in Asia. And I remember really kind of the early part of the year, our clients in Hong Kong and Asia were all talking about this stuff. And, we still didn't really understand, like, okay, that's happening there, but this isn't going to be what the rest of us are dealing with, right? It was really hard to comprehend, but they were dealing with school closures, stay-at-home orders, and, really it started really in Asia, obviously. Then we saw it kind of go down the line in Singapore and Europe and UK. Then to, US and Canada happened like real quick, right? US, Canada was like boom, boom. Canada went on lockdown very fast. And Australia has really been kind of the last kind of part of the world that we serve that, kicked into gear. Luckily, they had the benefit of seeing everybody else kind of go first with how they've been proactive in managing a lot of the issues. But really, as of this recording, it was just in the past, week and a half that we saw facility closures and kind of stages of facility closures first, and then you could be in the park, and then for a little bit, and then you couldn't be in the park, and then it's kind of been progressive. But we've seen this roll out, and we've had the benefit of learnings through all those phases and helping our the entrepreneurs we serve and their teams work through this and kind of what's the right strategy for week 1, week 2, week 3, week 4 as we work through this together. So excited to share lessons learned and more with everybody on the call today.
That's awesome. So with that perspective, with that worldwide perspective, kind of firsthand talking to your clients, how long do you see this thing lasting? Like, how long before we come out the other side, or even can see the light at the end of the tunnel?
Yeah, I think for the majority of your listeners that I understand are in the U.S. I think for the majority of people in the U.S., we're going to see like the models in California and a lot of our businesses in California we serve, which obviously California is a big hub of fitness for the U.S. Is that we're going to end of April, early May, we're going to start to see some soft openings. And it's not like we're going to flip a switch and everything's going to come back online in one day. It's going to be a slow kind of reboot of the system, if you will, when it comes to the fitness industry. And we're going to see some of that happen the end of April, early May, and then a progression of that. I think, big picture, it's going to be the summer really before we see things in somewhat of a normal state. And then the big question is, how that goes into the fall. But I think right now, if I had to, if I was a betting man and all the information that we have kind of at our fingertips and what we see and hear, and we do have a lot of government connections as well. A lot of our big associations are lobbying in government. They're connected in a lot of government meetings and in different parts of the globe. And so I think that's a reasonable estimate for us in the fitness industry to think about when, we're going to be back in our studios and back working with clients. Big box gyms are going to be the slower go here. That's going to be the last kind of thing to come back, is the bigger groups of people that we get to allow kind of come back together. And frankly, the big questions on consumer behavior, the big box especially, is some of this isn't going to come back. I mean, people that were frozen of their big box gym membership, that were dormant, continuity members that weren't coming in, well, now they're gone. We're not going to get those guys back. And how quickly can we get those gyms kind of refilled? And that's the big unknown. I think studios and smaller operators are faring way better to be more nimble, more agile, to pivot through this, and are going to be able to come back a lot quicker. And the great thing about a smaller model like the boutiques is we can be more agile. We only need, at most of these models, even in the group models, 100, 200 people max, and we're done. So it's not like we're trying to get, thousands of people back into our facility and the timeline it takes to make that happen. So I think the boutique space and independents and trainers and boutique studio owners are well positioned, better than anybody, to come back, quickly here. And that's what I would expect on kind of the road ahead. But there's things to be done that are going to help make that an easier go for you. And you definitely don't want to be sitting around waiting on, just the government to solve your problems and say, okay, we're back up for business. You've got to look at what we can't control, government timelines for facility openings. And we got to look at what we can control, which is, really a lot of areas around our mindset, how we lead ourselves, our team, how we protect, the business cash flow, how we engage the current clients and virtual services and what that looks like, and really getting to wow in our customer experience and customer journey in that environment. And then our own sales, our own marketing efforts for customer acquisition, whether we're open or not, we can still advance. And, we've had many customers, as you've been able to talk to, I know one of them just this past weekend, who are accelerating through the curve and having, and this is as crazy as it sounds, having their best month ever right now. We're seeing some of their top performers are up, 25, 35% in top line revenue and profitability through COVID-19, because they've been well prepared, they're executing well, they're agile, and they're thriving during this time. So, and if that's not you, doesn't mean you're doing it wrong. It just means we got to get on the right path. We got things to work on, and we got to start moving in the right direction to get things in a good state for your business. And bulletproof your model. I think this is a massive wake up call for the industry of, if your revenue relies 100% on seeing people face to face, you're at great risk for anything going wrong, for having a big wobble on that. I mean, not just a government closes your facility, but clients move out of town, clients move out of state, all this kind of stuff that has a big fluctuation on your income as a service provider and a face-to-face service provider. Well, this is a chance to level up your model, to become a better coach, to have more value you can give the customer, to have that continuity continue of the relationship, of the value to the customer, and of the revenue to your business, which is, where you need to be as a business owner. You have to keep revenue coming in the door, always and forever, to keep the lights on and keep things flowing for everybody to be successful.
Yeah, there's a lot that you just said that I want to unpack in this conversation today. But the best thing was, it's music to my ears when you say that this is actually going to benefit the smaller independent studios more than the big box gyms, because it's like pivoting a speedboat versus a giant cruise ship, as far as, making changes in the model and everything else. So let's get into it then. What are some of the things that you see your successful clients doing that the unsuccessful, or even the status quo ones, aren't doing?
Well, it starts, and you hear me kind of anchor on this a few times in this conversation. It starts with having, number one, a clear priorities, and each and every day. And the priority number one is getting your own head right. And that's a big job. That's not like fluff. That's not like, yeah, we talk about it, but it's nice to do, and let's get on to like what I should go sell at market. I mean, really, if you're not having time blocked in your calendar for your own personal development, your own workout every single day, that's priority one, like physical fitness and movement. We talk about the Miracle Morning. If you haven't heard of the Miracle Morning, great book by Hal Elrod. He spoke at our conference a few years ago in 2016. You can check out our website, a great interview with him, and our blog, if you search Hal Elrod. But, having a time, really an hour a day for your personal development. And we talk about the savers being silence or meditation, affirmations, visualization, reading, education, exercise, and really journaling. You have to create space to do that every day. That's like showering, that's like eating. And as a leader, you have to have that anchor for yourself, before you can lead anyone else effectively. So number one, first advice is pull up your calendar, show me where you've got an hour blocked a day to work on you before anything else. That's off the top. It's like money, savings off the top, right? So show me your calendar. If you don't have that blocked in, do it now. So that's number one. And that's going to get you in the right headspace to be able to be effective in leading yourself and others, and surrounding yourself with the people that you can support you. Don't try to silo and figure this out by yourself. A lot of people at times of stress, we don't expand, we contract, and we try to, go in our cave and figure out our problems. We don't want to talk to anybody about it. We're kind of embarrassed and ashamed. We're just, not sure, and we feel awkward. And it's the wrong reaction. The people that silo, die quickly. You got to reach out, you got to engage, you got to plug in to networks, like your show, and others, things that we do. We have a community of fitness business owners around the world. So plug into your network, plug into opportunities to learn, to engage, and be surrounded by, stories, good news, positivity, and really people that are, ahead of where you are, that are finding the breakthroughs that maybe you are looking for yourself. So you can, you're going to be lifted up by the people around you are going to be lifted down, and making sure surrounding yourself with people are going to lift you up. So getting your head right is job number one every day as a leader. Put your own oxygen mask on first, right? So number two, we talk about protecting the business and your clients, and really protect and defend your clients in the business. So protecting and defending the business really comes down to the cash flow of the business. And we have to have a clear line of sight of cash flow forecast for the business. Now, at NP, we teach a method called cash dash forecasting. We want to look at every week, by week for the next 12 weeks, a rolling 12 weeks. So every week on a Monday or Friday, whatever it is your day to do this, you're able to see in the next 12 weeks, what's coming in, what's projected to come in, what's projected to come out, what's my net cash flow, and what's my cash balance by week. When I know that, then I can see if it's either looking ahead 12 weeks, it's either in the black and it's going up, it's in the black, it's neutral, or it's going down and maybe it's in the red. And that's going to be really important, because that's going to inform. It's kind of like your dashboard. It's like driving the car. If you're going to be out of gas or not, right, on your road trip. You got to know, if I'm running out of gas, well, I better be clear about I gotta do something to either put more gas in the tank, or I gotta slow down to not burn as much fuel, or I gotta, whatever's gonna happen. But I gotta know the context of the priorities of where I need to focus and the urgencies of making some key decisions. If you don't have that context, then we're just driving with our eyes closed, and for sure we're gonna run into some wreck. So be aware of your cash flow. And this is an area that I think, especially in the fitness industry, is uncomfortable. I mean, most people don't get into fitness with a background in finance and accounting. We don't have a confidence level when it comes to understanding metrics and numbers. And it's way more fun to go be reactive into serving people today and getting kind of attaboys from your clients that makes you feel good emotionally in the moment, than to look at what might be uncomfortable data to make decisions about your business. But you've got to take your coach hat off for a minute, and you got to put your business owner hat on first and foremost. And your business owner hat, job number one is to protect and preserve cash flow. Cash flow is what keeps your business alive. Without cash flow, your business is dead. So that's number one for protecting the business. And we kind of determine there, we like to say you're either in one of two modes. You're either in survival mode, right? We're in red, or we're going down, or we're in growth mode. We're black, or we're going up. And depending on if you're in growth mode or survival mode, there's going to be key sets of strategies that you're going to want to deploy. So survival mode, we got a whole list of strategies, right? So where can we renegotiate our expenses and terms? Where can we apply for some of the opportunities that are available in PPP CARES Act and disaster relief, SBA Part 1, Part 2, and whether way to roll this out. Some of the state programs that are bridge loans that you can get access to quicker. Where can you call, vendors and credit cards and stuff to defer payments? Where can you cut that you just don't need? All these things are going to help you look at expenses, number one, and then look at revenue, number two, and start to identify, what I think I can do, who I think is going to, on pause, who is going to maintain, all those things to project and predict the future. It's not going to be perfect. We're not going to know every number down to the penny for the next 12 weeks, but we got to start to understand, and we got to start to take responsibility as opposed to throwing our hands up in the air and saying, well, I'm just going to go train clients today. That's a trainer coach mentality and mindset, which is great in client service, but is going to fail you as a business owner. So you've got to take, again, personal responsibility for knowing the numbers, getting this figured out, and knowing the context of where you're operating, so you can deploy the right strategies to navigate your future and the sustainability of your business. So protect cash flow, number one, as a business owner. And then number two, then get into serving clients, powerfully serve your clients. This is the time to not shy away from this. And the operators are shying away and think, yeah, I'll just, send out some free workouts and be in touch with people when we're back open. You're probably not going to make it. I'll tell you right now, that is not going to get the job done. And you're going to be by the wayside while other people are blowing past you right now. You've got to look at how you increase the value stream to your customer and how you remove barriers to them receiving the value stream. So you think about, and this again gets back to your own mindset, how you think about your role, how you lead yourself, how you lead your team, how you lead your clients. Here's what I know about the best and most successful operators. Their mindset is rock solid around the value proposition of coaching. And there's a big difference between coaching and people watching free videos on Instagram and YouTube. That is not coaching, right? And free videos on YouTube and Instagram were there a month ago. They're going to be there 6 months from now. They didn't come to you for free videos. They came to you for coaching. So you look at the ways we provide value to customers in coaching. We do assessment, right? Injuries, baselines, issues, needs, goals. Out of that, we design right programming and what are going to be the right pieces to put a plan together to help someone get from where they are to where they want to be. Teaching technique, make sure they got correct movement patterns, safely execute exercise. They activate the right muscles to actually get the benefit in return. We get into accountability support, getting sessions done, making sure it happens, making sure we give our best each session to get the most out of the prescribed protocols that we put together in the program design. And nutrition, recovery, community, all these are key value propositions that are part of the coaching and program experience that we provide to our clients. And whether we're offline in a face-to-face world, or we're online in a digital world, these components don't change. Now, the percentages of which of those are more valuable to your client base are going to vary slightly based on your avatar. So if you're working with more advanced athletes and exercisers, they're going to be very highly value the programming and the technique. That's going to be key pieces for them. Probably not as much on the accountability support. They're disciplined enough to get it done. But they're still going to do, everybody does best when they're challenged and pushed to become the best version of themselves they can be. It's why Olympic athletes have coaches. They don't try to, do it all themselves, right? So, and the community aspects, even more so now than ever, people that are isolated, stuck at home, craving and value community. And so the fact that we provide that to our clients, whether we're in a one-to-one model or a semi-private or a group model, it doesn't matter. There's a sense of connection and community that keeps us sane, keeps us operating at our best, and be mentally and physically strong to face any challenge that comes at us, including COVID-19 and more. So, and then the session experience, if we're dealing with newbie exercisers, the assessment's going to be really critical. The program design is going to be very basic, but the accountability and support of, we're going to do live sessions. Every session, I'm going to be on screen with you. I'm going to hold your hand. I'm going to coach you through it. You're going to give your best and get it done. All those reasons you thought you couldn't make this happen today, we're going to wipe that out. We're going to push through and make this happen because I'm mentally strong enough to lead you through getting this done, which is what's going to be the key to you getting success. And ultimately, delivering clients to the outcome is the value. It's not the session. The sessions don't provide value. Leading clients to the outcome they want to achieve, to solve a problem and achieve a goal, that's the value we create for the customer. And we can do that with a camera. We can do that face-to-face. Frankly, it's just going to require you to level up. You got to be a better coach than you were a month ago. And those who engage that as opportunity to step up, to do more, to be more, to give more, are going to they are crushing it right now. And those who are thinking that good enough is going to make it, I'm sorry, that's not going to happen. You're going to get eaten alive by people who are more aggressive and more inspired and more determined to give value to their customer than you are. The market's going to decide that they win over you, and that's the way it goes. So those would be the pieces on the business and the clients. I'll get into new customer acquisition in a minute, but I'm sure you want to pause and unpack that a little bit.
Yeah,
Further.
absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Because amen, brother, you're preaching to the choir over here. It's the exact same things that we talk about all the time on the show. But I was talking to Kate Laird, your client, who's crushing it, who's added 30 new members in the last 2 weeks, that's a good month, even if your brick and mortar's open, much less during COVID-19. Those are unbelievable
Correct.
numbers. But it goes back to, and we were talking about all the trainers out there who are giving away their product for free online, since they're brick and mortar, since they can't train face to face, and they're giving it away online because I don't think they value their experience, their expertise. And so they don't deliver value when they give it away. And it goes back to what you said, the anchor, the mindset, just having the confidence and the belief in yourself that what I have is of value and I need to charge accordingly instead of giving it away. Because I think trainers especially give away too much for free, because we have this whole stigma around, we want to help people, but we almost ashamed of accepting money for it. What do you say to owners that come to you, fitness business owners that come to you that are suffering from that syndrome?
Yeah. So, I mean, we have to deal with this. It's one of the biggest issues around mindset, around pricing, packaging, undercharging, valuing ourselves enough that, is an ongoing issue in the industry, on an average day, right? Let alone COVID-19 day, that's going to rock everybody to a new level. So this is critical, I hate to say it, we see a lot in the CrossFit space the last few years, a race to the bottom, and everybody's, got cheaper. And where those guys say they're all out of business because, 3 friends threw life savings into open a garage gym warehouse, and now we gave it away and now everybody's broke and done. If you want to be around if people say, I really care about the market. If you really care about the market, you should care about being sustainable in your business, to be here to serve the market for the next 5-10 years, not to be get rid of what you got and peace out in 3 months because you're done. That's just not, you don't really care. Frankly, it's kind of this, like, frankly, very selfish. I would just want to receive emotional love in the moment from people saying they love me and free stuff, but you're really not best serving them. You're not best serving yourself, and you're not going to be able to give, unless it's the same message as when you get on the plane, and I'm a parent now, and our son's going to turn 1 this year. And I think about, gosh, there's nothing I wouldn't do for his health and safety and happiness. But if that plane starts going down, I don't put my oxygen mask on first and I pass out, no way he's going to make it. I've got to train that to be my reaction. I've got to train myself, as much as I care about him, I've got to train myself to make sure I can breathe first, so I can ensure he can continue to breathe. And that, like, is a tough mindset to shift our behavior of, like, just giving and serving and we got nothing left. But it is critical. If you really care, that's the way you got to approach this thing. Also ask yourself, who you surround yourself with. I mean, surround yourself with business owners who are successful, who are giving and who do care, and you're going to see a way of engaging in a mindset and a belief system that is very powerful. You talked to Kate Laird, a great example, this week. People will listen to this episode, and if you haven't, go listen to it. She is not someone who thinks about herself first. She thinks about her community first. She is driven on service first for her community. How can I serve them powerfully right now? But because she's focused on that, that's why she's critical about maintaining price and maintaining value in their service, because that's what allows me to keep giving. That's why, she's having her best month ever right now. She's able to throw money at her massage therapist that can't do virtual massages next month. She's able to throw money at the local baker and the local coffee shop and help everybody kind of keep going and thrive. She's able to keep paying her staff, keep them on payroll, and able to keep feeding their families because of the way she's leading, as opposed to throwing up free stuff and trying to give it away. And frankly, just you can't give real value in coaching. You can't give away for free, because I can't afford to spend time with you and do all those things: assessment, program design, teaching technique, accountability, support, check-ins, nutrition, recovery. I can't do that for free. It's just not going to work. I'm going to have to go get a job, and I'm not going to have time to do that. So, by the nature of, I got mouths to feed at home. So, get your head right about this stuff. And I hate to say it, but you got to unplug from your friends and family and maybe colleagues who don't share this mindset of, charging what you're worth, exchanging a fair wage, and sustainability, because I don't care what they think. They're dragging you down. You've got to surround yourself with people that have abundance mindset and that believe at giving, and selling is serving. Profit is what allows you to keep the doors open and keep giving and serving the market for months and weeks and years to come.
Yeah, I agree. And it's a little bit like COVID-19 too. You have to think about, the reason we're sheltering in place is so we don't infect other people, or get infected by other people. And it affects the entire worldwide community. The same thing when you give away your services for free, it affects the entire fitness community, because the end user sees that as the same as somebody who's charging. But it's really not the same. It's really not the same value, because free has no value. And so people treat it accordingly. So I think those are all great points. And you're absolutely right about Kate Laird, and that she has been aggressive about reaching out to people, serving her clients harder than she's ever served them before. So yeah, that's 100% accurate. And what you said about mentors and coaches is so true, because once you become a fitness business owner and you talk to other people who haven't owned a business or aren't fitness business owners, they don't get it. They just don't get it. You have to talk to somebody who's been there, somebody who can coach you and lead you to greater results down the road, who know exactly what you're talking about. The explanation has to be cut in half, because they just get it. And they say, look, these are your options. This is what I recommend. And choose those people wisely, because those are the people that are going to lift you up, because you're going to hear no a lot more than you hear yes as you try to grow and sustain your business. So coaching and mentors is so key. And this is, I don't know if it's unique to the fitness industry, but I see it a lot in the fitness industry, people who call themselves coaches who don't hire coaches. They don't hire a coach to train them. They don't hire a business coach. They don't hire a marketing coach. They don't even hire an accountant to help them with their numbers. So that is so key. So what are some of the differences that you've seen of people that own fitness businesses that have coaching and mentors? What's the biggest difference that you see between them and people that don't?
Well, it just gets back to our industry. What are the difference we see in clients who have a fitness coach and those that don't? I mean, it's night and day, right? Because no one can do this all for themselves. And by the way, I will share that, not only do we sell coaching, we provide business coaching education in the world, but I for years and continue every month, first thing off off the expenses is business coaching. I work with a business coach. I continue to invest in working with coaches, consultants, experts so I can continue to grow and get better, so I can serve more powerfully, our industry and our customers in the world that we want to make an impact with. And fitness, the other thing, I've been in the fitness industry. Former professional athlete. I've owned multiple, location studios, train a lot of clients, but I have a fitness coach today because I know that I've got a lot going on in my world, and to have a fitness coach who can program me, help, me be at my best, and fitness is number one and business is number two. And I think you should be looking at that. And Kate Laird's the same. You'll hear her talk about right off the top is fitness coach, business coach. You've got to have people that help you be at your best so you can give your best. And if you're selling it but not buying it, you're a freaking hypocrite. I'm sorry, but you are. And don't tell me you can't afford it. That's the same thing your clients tell you they can't afford it. You can't afford not to. If you're seriously going to do this, and otherwise just go get a job. Don't be a business owner. If you're going to seriously be a business owner, entrepreneur, though, you better freaking invest in coaching. You better have a fitness coach and you better have a business coach, because you don't have time to do this all yourself, and you're not going to be able to figure it all out yourself. You need support. You need someone to help, challenge you and supports you, leads you, guides you, educate you to be at your best. So, I mean, it's not even optional. It's freaking mandatory. Do it.
Yeah, I agree. So we covered the first two, protect and defend your business and your clients. Is there, what are the other things on your list?
Yeah, point three is then move into when that's in a good state. And I will share maybe just a little more about the clients. So as you're transitioning right now, everybody, last 4 weeks have been transitioning from offline to online service delivery. And there's lots of components in that, and it's okay to not be perfect. It's okay to make mistakes, but to be quickly, aggressively moving to make it better every day. And I'll share that some of the 3 questions we recommend to use at the end of every virtual session that you do with a client. I don't talk about really the technology and the hardware, software, and tech. And I mean, there's lots of places you can figure that out. If you want, we do have a guide on COVID-19. I think you shared it with your community, Jim. People can go access it. There's a lot of resources in there. You can get a lot of information, check it out. But if you want our website, npfitness.com, you can go find it as well. Is to get aggressive about massively increasing your customer experience and journey every single day. So at the end of every session, 3 questions. Number 1, how's the intensity of the workout for you today? You want to get feedback to know, was the dose response right? How do they perceive it, in their home versus when you're face to face? How are we doing to give people the right kind of program to where they feel good about the experience? Number 2, what can we do to continue to improve the remote coaching experience for you? If people are like, it's good, but I'm just kind of waiting to go back to the studio. No, you didn't hear me. What can we do to improve the remote coaching experience? What do you have to do to make this the most amazing, incredible hour of your day, period? Right? And don't stop until you get to wow. And you got to be pushing for wow. If you want to be successful in business, that's job number 1. You need to be deliver wow every single day, whether face-to-face or virtual. And those are going to give you learnings and opportunities to find ways to improve. Lots of little things that you do to create a great experience and deliver value to your customer. So a lot of people are doing things like adding an extra for group businesses, adding a mobility session or yoga class on the weekend for all their group training, strength training clients. They're adding additional nutrition coaching, workshops every Wednesday. Some of our, women's community groups, group fitness businesses, they're doing a, once a week social on Zoom where they have wine and catch up and talk, and that community is a huge part of it. So what are the ways, again, you can increase value to your members? What are the ways that, ask for those learnings to create wow? And even remove barriers. We have some of our clients that are dealing with elderly clients and aren't really great with technology and kind of struggle with the tech side. And they're doing things like sending out a little stand to them to put their phone on or their iPad on. They're even sending them, on Amazon in the US, we can get tablets for $39, an Amazon Fire tablet. You can send them a tablet, you can stand for the price of a session. You can send your client, a remote kit to have an unbelievable, great camera, great good screen, nightstand. You can move it in a good spot to see their movement, different angles. And now it's a gift they have, forever. And it really didn't cost you much. Look at what the customer's worth to your business. If the customer's worth, several $100 a month, well, for you to spend $50 or whatever it is to take care of them and make sure they keep rolling, that's a drop it in the bucket of investing in your customers. And people are, they're raving fans. Oh my gosh, my studio sent me this screen, this thing, and this stand, and they're the best thing ever. And they look after me, they care, and they go above beyond. And that's how you create raving fans and you create wow. So create raving fans, create wow. And then as you're doing so, ask for people to send you an email, send you a text, share, what they most love about the experience and why they recommend other people do remote coaching with you. So that you can then push that back out in your marketing to your current clients that are not engaged right now, or to, use in messaging around reactivation campaigns to past clients. I mean, people that moved out of state who, stopped training with you because this wasn't even an option that we were thinking about, months ago. We could do some type of virtual training. This is going to give you marketing ammunition to go, and spread that good news. So, so that's all part of delivering wow, increasing the value to the member, and then moving barriers to receiving the value to the member, and really, continue to lean into ways to just create a better journey and customer experience. So once we've done that, then we get into part 3, which is new customer acquisition. And new customer acquisition really comes down to the sales piece first, the marketing part second. Everyone wants to start with marketing. Marketing becomes, frankly, the easier part. It's the sales piece everybody starts to really get confused on and not know what to do. And they don't have good systems in place. They don't have the ability to go execute. And sales, to be clear, when I say sales, I mean a system and process of how you take someone from where they are to saying yes and handing over their, their money and their credit card or their wallet to sign up. And really, that's all about how we lead someone to make a commitment to the journey of the work to become the person they want, transform the person they want to become, right? So how do we lead them through that process? So we've been teaching for years, since 2006, a 7.5-step sales system. I had to recommend you get a sales system in place. We call our auto closer. Really is about pre-qualification, making sure people can A, afford you, B, make a buying decision. It's about rapport building, so help people to relax, feel comfortable, know they can trust you before you engage a conversation, and help them to relax too. When people go to talk to a fitness coach, they're nervous, they're uncomfortable, they don't know what's going to happen, what's involved. They're generally in, some type of pain or distress. That's why they're here, to make an investment in their change. And then what are the questions we ask for? Probe and discovery questions really is the next step. Identifying needs. We talk about holding up the mirror. How do we help them understand what their needs are? And then how do we go into problem building, help them understand really what is holding them back from getting to where they want to be, and how we help them reframe the problem, understand the problem, and then move into presenting the solution. We like to teach a visual presentation, having a PowerPoint deck or system to explain. And it really helps the virtual training to have a visual, because audio comprehension, if you're listening to us right now, you're going to remember 7% of really what we have to say in this interview. But if we add a visual to it, you're going to remember about 12%. It's still pretty terrible. You're not going to remember too much, but 400% increase, we'll take it, right? So if we want to have better sales, we got to have better comprehension of the information we're sharing. So visual is really helpful, especially for presentation. Explains our methodology, our process, really how we go from A to B, and I'll start to overcome, objections, frequently asked questions before we ask for the sale. Then we get into a close. We teach alternate choice close process, which is really simple, painless. Of based on what you've told me, Mr. Jones, and your goals of X, I'm going to recommend either door number 1 or door number 2. Which one's best for you? And it really just gives the it's like T-ball. We just put the ball on the tee and line them up so they can just hit it. They're going to say door number 1, boom. Door number 2, bam. Or they're going to have an objection. And if they have an objection, there's a 5-step process we have how to manage those objections and how to lead those, which is really about just number 1, listening, don't interrupt people. It's a sign of respect. And very often when you just let people talk out their own objections, you'll even see stream of consciousness. They're like, well, it's too expensive, but if I do this, I do that, I cancel this, I'm good. Okay, let's sign up. Right. And great. They've sold themselves. That's what you want. You want to let them sell themselves and work it out. But if they don't, then so let them talk it out. Number 1, listen, don't interrupt. Number 2, question the objection. And question really just is an open-ended question. It's a question, who, what, when, where, why, how. It's not an open-ended yes or no, right? So when you watch the legal shows, it's like, were you in the blue room with this? Yes or no, right? And we're kind of trying to pigeonhole someone. In this case, in sales environment, we want to ask an open-ended question that requires them to form an opinion, idea, or thought. And what we're doing is, when we do that, we have to, psychologically, we have to determine a position. We have to justify our position in our explanation or position, which very often we see we can't do that. So we lost our own objection, right? Or we're going to have some opinion or thought. We're going to justify it. And then we're going to softly question the objection. Well, what do you mean by that? What, have you thought about this? And it allows them to, again, they have to reaffirm their position, or they have to question maybe their position was ill-informed by a few things they hadn't considered. And so there's a process how we do that, to challenge it, to then remove it. Once we remove the objection, then ask for the sale again. And there's only like 5 objections you're going to get, by the way, and you learn how to manage those very well, and you're done, to be very effective in sales. In sales, you should be converting 80, 90, 100%. If you follow the process and system I'm sharing with you, and really get this well in a good state. And it's going to allow you to raise your price point, to have better margins, to have more committed clients. And that's the best thing. Having good sales is the most important and first coaching conversation you're ever going to have with a client. It's the process at which they make a commitment to their journey to solve their problem, achieve their goal. And if they're not committed and bought into that journey, nothing else that you have to offer them has any value, or matters. So leading them to that decision and commitment process is your most important job as a coach, and serving people. And when I say sales, leadership, coaching, this is all the same thing in this moment in time. When you do that, you get to yes, then you get to, you get to do all the things you know how to do to help them and lead them effectively. That sales is number one. And I can't overstate that enough, because a lot of people, I do thousands of calls every week to people around the world, and people are like, yeah, I got that, but tell me about the marketing. No, you probably don't get it yet. Like, let's really sit with this for a while, make sure, just like, yeah, my customer experience is good. No, it's probably not really good just yet. Let's sit with wow for a little while and really get to wow. Go deep on that. Let's get with sales. Let's really go deep on that. You get these parts right, the marketing then becomes easy, because there's just not a shortage of people who have interest, demand or desire to solve a problem or achieve a goal when it comes to health and fitness. You just aren't effective in inspiring and leading them to commit to the journey. And so when we get better at our communication skills, we get more confident with that. I mean, good sales overcomes, terrible marketing any day of the week. You're gonna put anyone in front of you. You're gonna lead them to say yes, because they're gonna feel, your confidence, your energy is gonna help them get to that place where they're committed to their goals. So, sales is number one. Again, so many people are so caught up in the marketing. Don't forget, sales is king. Sales is what grows your business, not marketing. Sales is where people make a commitment, the till turns, your business takes in money, good things happen. So focus on sales. Happy to answer marketing questions. We'll cover that in a second, but I'll pause. That's my sales soapbox for everyone.
Yeah, again, you're preaching to the choir. I agree with you 100%. And I think a lot of, especially early on in smaller operators, they have a false sense of confidence when it comes to sales, because the majority of the people they get coming in are referrals. And referrals is, I mean, they've already been sold. They've been sold by whoever referred them. So that's an easy close. If you're not closing 100% of your referrals, then you have some work to do. But understand that referrals is not sales. Sales is like somebody coming in like a cold lead, or somebody walking in off the street who's never heard of you, doesn't know anything about you. That's sales. And that's where you need that process. Otherwise, you can have 100 leads a day, but if you don't have a process, if you don't have a funnel to put them in, to lead them to where you want them to go, then it doesn't matter how many leads you have if you don't have that sales process down. And I agree with you 100%. That is 100% the most important thing, because that's the lifeblood of your business. Like you said before, if you don't have revenue, if you don't have enough revenue, you're out of business. And where do you get revenue? From clients. And where do you get clients? From sales, from your sales process. So yeah, that's really, really important. But you want to talk about that false sense of confidence that some operators have, because the majority of their leads come from referrals. And the second part of that is, if the majority of their leads are coming from referrals, do they really have a sales and marketing program at all?
Yeah, I mean, the answer is no. Most don't. And also, tell me about your 100 email addresses you got last month off a Facebook ad. Those aren't leads. Those are called email addresses. So, a lot of people, they think marketing is about some magic ad. I'm going to collect a bunch of emails and that's it. No, that's really not it. And depending on the type of client, your ideal client avatar is going to determine a lot of things when it comes to, your messaging, your positioning, your offer. I mean, marketing is a lot more about strategy to be effective, and what is all the pieces that make up good marketing strategy, than it is about promotion. A good friend of mine likes to share, marketing promotion is a guy, ringing a bell with a sandwich for sale. Marketing strategy is really about how we determine all the things that are going to set up your success. So you have a battle plan, and when you hit play, boom, things happen. And really the right people come in at the right time who you want to work with. These are the right people you would love to sign up. You're going to sign up, are going to be with you for years. And that's very different from a guy ringing the bell with a sandwich. So you've got to get time and marketing strategy. And good strategy is what wins the game in business, especially in marketing. So make that the foundation of really what you do. And the great news is, that there's a less noise in the market right now than there ever has been, because people are just, doors are shut and they're home crying. And I feel for that, for our industry that's going through that. But there's also, as a result, there's opportunity if you're willing to engage. You level up your own development, your skills. and get things in place, you're going to be very effective in accelerating customer acquisition now more than you ever have, because there's less resistance, there's less noise in the market, there's less competition in the market. People are isolated, they're craving, a connection and community and some mental health and physical health now more than ever, investing with a coach to support them in that process, because it's all too easy to just watch Netflix and, order Uber Eats right now. And that's not getting anyone in a good place. So people need you. And if you're willing to step up, now's the time to really shine and to grow as a result.
Yeah, now's the time to work harder than you've ever worked before. And it's not a time to sit on the couch and watch Netflix as a fitness business owners, because you're absolutely right. It's a tremendous opportunity. And I think it's going to be a tremendous opportunity post-COVID, because there are going to be less players in the market. And people are going to be a little bit more focused on their health and wellness to address their underlying issues that affect people that catch the COVID virus. So, I mean, as far as opportunity, there's plenty. All right. And then as when you're building an online model during this COVID and actually positioning it for post-COVID as well, is the pricing the same as if you're doing an in-person membership?
In most cases, yes. We've seen, hold your price point and focus on increasing the value stream. There's been some cases where we have clients, way on the high end of price point, like $1,300 a month for semi-private training, let's call it, in a studio. I mean, that's a tougher piece. It might sense to come down a little bit. And there's some, a lot of this I will say varies given A, the avatar you work with, B, your deliverables in the right online experience. So for example, for some people, online training looks like I do your programming, I send you the programming, you send me back the results of each workout after the session, record the last set of their exercise, I make a few comments in Messenger, and we get on a Zoom call once a month to have a coaching session. And that's their deliverable. And so that's a very different time commitment and structure than some clients who are doing like literally every session is a live session to get on through camera, coach a client through the session, watch technique, watch movement. So depending on your avatar, depending on your deliverables, you're going to want to go through. This is stuff that we help people with. It's part of our business, but you're going to want to go through and you're going to assess your time. You're going to assess your costs, and you're going to come up with the right pricing, packaging, to best serve your, and everything's going to be a little bit different, depending on what you do. But in most cases, your job is to protect price, protect your value, and just increase the stream to the people you want to serve, and you're gonna do great. I like to think of virtual as like you've now got a virtual location, right? So you got your brick and mortar location, and you've got a virtual location, and you deliver the same services and the same pricing, and it's now you've just looked at ways you've learned how to level up and increase the value stream both online and offline in both groups. And this is now can be, instead of the, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of dollars we'd invest to go open a new brick and mortar location, with equipment and leases and build out and what have you, we can now launch and continue to grow a virtual location with very, much less overhead. And it supports the other business because now, again, client moves out of state, we can retain them versus before we had to give that up. Someone has a sister or brother, family member out of town, they'd love to refer them. Well, we couldn't take the business. Now we can. We have people, parents that are bringing their adult children in their remote sessions, and they're just charging, double for the session and happy to pay for it. So this opens up tremendous opportunity for us to grow and to retain and serve now more than ever. Again, those who are going to step up to the plate and get in the game, it's a great time to grow.
Yeah, I agree 100%. So I think we ended on number 3, which was the 3 questions that you ask at the end of each session, but also you were talking about the sales process and marketing. What comes after that?
Well, that's really, the big key. So we talked about sales process,
Mm-hmm.
and then I guess the marketing. I think the most important things to marketing right now is to, given the context of those things I share with strategy versus promotion,
Mm-hmm.
your job right now is to keep re-engaging the current clients. So any clients that are not switched over to online services, there's going to be some extreme cases where both spouses have lost jobs, kids are home at school, and you've got to be creative and maybe deferring a payment or come up with an option for them if you want to retain them as a customer. If they've been a client for years and you expect them to continue, this is probably a time to consider that. But a lot of the issues are just the mindset around virtual training from your current clients. So how are we educating them on the value we deliver in online training environment? How are we getting them to try it out, engage them, create wow, share wow. And the current clients are going to be the first priority of where you want to focus your energy from a marketing perspective. Internal marketing is going to be way more efficient than external marketing to begin. Then reactivation should be your next priority. How do we look at anybody in the last 18, 24 months who we worked with, who moved out of town or stopped working with us? That is a chance to re-engage and see how they're doing, see if we can serve them and help them in any way. That's going to be your next really bucket to focus on. And then we get into when you're creating wow and creating that buzz, referrals and bring a friend campaigns. This is a great time to do a great 2-week kind of promotion to where you can generate a lot of leads and engagement from just leveraging your current network. And your acquisition costs are minimal in that. And so those are the 1, 2, 3 areas of focus. Fourth would be organic. Just the fact that you're open for business and other people are closed, you're going to have more traffic to you than other people are. So I mean, simple things, but like your homepage right now should say, are you stuck at home and want to be training? Click here for remote training. New clients, existing clients. Click here for a consultation. But just to even take advantage of the organic traffic that's going on right now. I mean, the people that have switched over their homepage, they're getting calls, they're getting emails, they're getting trials, they're making sales, and I'm seeing that everywhere. Versus those who like just at home and haven't touched the website and nothing's been updated. Of course, it's like crickets. So if you do those 4 things right now, those are the most greatest areas of opportunity. There's going to be more. You don't really need to go on to cold advertising and a bunch of stuff until you focus on those 4 things in that order. And if you do that, that's a lot of meat on the bone for everybody right now, and that'll take you a long way. So, I'd start there, and then show me you've done all that, and we can have another conversation about the next steps. But one step at a time.
Yeah, and especially if you've taken the steps to kind of mitigate your overhead, at the beginning with your rent and your credit cards and lenders and everything, all your expenses. So if you've been able to reduce your expenses, you want to keep your staff paid, give them jobs to do. Now is a great time to build that out. And then you get more revenue coming in with less expenses. I mean, who wouldn't want that? I mean, that's a win-win. That's a grand slam right there. And then you keep your coaches busy. So I don't see any reason why you wouldn't want to do that and why you shouldn't be able to. I agree with you 100%. All right. So we've covered the main 3 points. Is there anything else that you want to share with the listeners?
I think just to, kind of what I finished off with just a moment ago is, keep your head in the game in the right space. I think when things get busy and crazy and difficult, it's easy to feel overwhelmed, confused. You have a lot coming at you. I think right now more than ever, it's just to have a weekly focus. Don't try to think about what's going to happen a month from now or 3 months from now or 6 months now. There's just too many variables to play that out. You got to get your head in this week. So really take this thing 1 week at a time. What are your priorities? What is your focus needs to be? And then once you're clear on that, laser-like focus to execute. And then in a week, reassess, where am I at? What are my priorities? Where's my focus? And then head down and go. And if you can do that just 1 week at a time right now, that's the best kind of time frame to lead yourself through, uncertain times when a lot is changing every week, and it's going to continue to be that way for a little while. So just get a weekly focus and then execute.
Yeah, I agree. And that Miracle Morning is a great book. Another guest recommended that. So I highly recommend that. All right, Sean, thanks a lot for coming on the show. And I want to respect your time, even though we now have more time than any of us have ever had in a long time. But we get to my favorite part of the show, and I like it because we get the best answers. So they're not gotcha questions, but we get great answers. So my first question to you and all my guests is, what has been your most, and COVID-19 is excluded from all answers. So what has been your most successful failure? And by that, I mean, at the time, it seemed like a devastating loss that you weren't going to be able to recover from, but you were able to take life lessons from that and use those to propel you to greater success down the road?
Yeah. Well, failure or hardship, I'll frame that probably in two ways. So when I was 26, I got diagnosed with stage 4 cancer. And I didn't know if I'd be dead in a year. It was one of the greatest things that ever happened to me, in that it really helped me. Um, I think one of the biggest fears of all humans is death. And when we, become really clear that we're all going to die, and just, you know, be ready and don't be scared, and, live your best life for today and tomorrow. And, then it changes you and transforms you. So that was a transformative experience in my life. I mean, I could share a lot on that one, but, thinking about that, and one of a great mentor of mine, separate to the cancer experience, but had me think about, think about the end of your life, whenever that may be. Let's say we're going to live to we're 90, and try to think back in decades. So when I'm 80 to 90, what is my life going to look like, and what do I want to think about and focus on when I'm 70, 80, and these decades are big markers in our life. And if you can think from the end to where we think, if we have control of that, if that happens, we live to our natural life expectancy and work backward, it gives you great perspective around these decades of your life. And I think having perspective on that gives a great context to what feels like crazy, urgent, difficult right now, but really in the context of, your life is not a big deal. I think that's been a great transformative experience for me. We'll have to do another show. I can unpack like 5 or 6 of these for you. But that was certainly a big one in my life, and has allowed me to have a unique perspective, and to really let go of a lot of fear, and to focus on, again, the things you can control, the things you can, and do your best and forget the rest. So yeah.
Yeah, I agree. That's a great story. And I think anytime you stare death down, it helps remove a lot of those fear barriers, and also puts a sense of urgency on living your best life, because you don't know how long you're going to get. None of us do, because I know I
Yeah,
had
it makes you appreciate those moments.
yeah, yeah, because I had a post-life experience when I was young, and it was a transformative experience for me, and it took off the shackles of fear, is what I call it. More, when I think about living my life. So that's a great, great answer. Thanks for sharing that. And I would like to reserve the right to have you back on the show to talk that and other things, fitness business. But my next question is, in your time in the fitness industry, what has been the biggest surprise that you've had to deal with that you didn't see coming?
Biggest surprise. I think it's been interesting, just how crazy everyone has gotten all the digital media, digital advertising the last few years. I mean, I've been, helping grow businesses, and since 2006. I mean, back when we did direct mail and we did radio ads, and then to see everybody, go all in on, thinking Facebook, then it was Google ads, PPC, and then Facebook, and just see how many people, thought that was an answer, and maybe they had a hot moment where that worked for them, and then they've just gotten slaughtered because it's not a great, people that I know there, and we have a lot of clients, acquiring a lot of clients on Facebook, but they're the worst quality leads, the lowest show rate, the lowest customer value. It's not the magic bullet to grow your business and your market. And I think it's been sad to see people that really buy into the hype and think that, oh, I just need a magic Facebook ad, and I'm going to solve all my problems in my business. And that's just fantasy land. And frankly, you're going to lose. So, there's a lot more to building a business, a sustainable business, and there's a lot better marketing strategies for customer acquisition, depending on, your model and your avatar and that kind of stuff. So just seeing, it's been disappointing to see on people kind of fell into seeing the hype and buying the hype, and then seeing them, many of them who just ruined their business, from following a path that was not the best one. So it's been a surprise to see and sad to see some of that occur. And, I hope we can continue to beat the drum on, the proven, tested, long-term principles that are going to ensure your success and sustainability for many, many years to come. And really about getting the right plan for your business, for your customers and acquisition, not just, because you think someone else has something figured out, that's the way to go.
Yeah. And I agree with you. And I think there was a time in the early days of Facebook where you could just do a magic Facebook ad and you would get, I've talked to owners back in the early days, the heyday of Facebook, where they would get like 70, 80 people signing up on Facebook. But those days are long gone. And now Facebook is super expensive. And like you said, the leads aren't good. The show up rate's crappy. So you have to diversify. So it just can't be one magic bullet in your gun. I agree with you. Another great answer. And then my last one, and I'm interested to hear this one, is where do you go for your personal and professional development?
Well, I have the benefit of a just incredible network today of great friends and, entrepreneurs and founders of big companies, that started small, grown and exited at, anywhere from 20 to 150 million. And I've got a really, great network of people that, that I've developed over the last 12 years that I stay connected with, engaged with, we support each other. And I think, there's nothing more important than your professional network. Continue to develop that with people that you align with their values and that are, maybe ahead of you in some areas that you'd like to grow and develop in. That's the place to go. That's where I go, and I continue to nurture and build that network, which is a global network for me. I mean, I have the benefit of, I've got great friends in Australia and the UK and Canada and US and, everywhere that I get to kind of help fill my cup with, and I connect with, engage with, and we have a lot of fun. So, you got to encourage everybody to reach outside, your little network and grow and expand that network. It's powerful.
Yeah. And I'm a big believer in you're the sum of the 5 people you spend the most time with. So you need to choose those people carefully. So how do you choose your mentors and your coaches?
How do I choose them? Well, certainly people that align with values, people that have achieved, some accomplishments or expertise or in an area that I'd like to grow and develop in. People I like spending time with, inspire me to become a better person and grow in areas of my life that, that I enjoy being around. So that's it. It's really simple.
So, and then as far as like you talked about getting your mind right, what's your anchor? What's your morning routine look like?
Great question. So, it's Miracle Morning and my workout. And so, depending on where I'm at in the world and where my schedule is. So we're in Australia now. I'm working a little different schedule. My workout is sometimes in the morning. More often I do that in the afternoon these days. And so, just those anchor. That's really it. Those 6 pieces are the most important ones. So if you don't know the Miracle Morning, grab the book. Again, we got a video. You can go see Hal's keynote from our 2016 conference on our blog. But those 6 keys, you do those every day. That's it. Done. Block an hour, do those things. You're done. So I do those things. I make time for meditation. I make time for affirmations, visualization. I make time for reading or education. We've just moved into a new house here in the Gold Coast for the next few months, but I was commuting to this office for a couple of weeks as we were kind of getting resettled here. And so I'd have a half-hour drive and I would audiobook it instead of reading. And so, just pivot the little things that work given where you're at and what's going on, but making time for those. I thrive. I really enjoy the learning. So time for me for learning, reading is a huge piece for me. Certainly the fitness is a huge piece for me. All those are really it. Those 6 keys, you put time into those buckets, you're gonna come out better for it on the other side. So
yeah, I agree. All right. Well, Sean, thanks for coming on the show. Where can people get in touch with you, get more information about MPE, sign up, reach out to you, all that good stuff?
Yeah, definitely come check us out, npfitness.com. You can click on a resource tab. You can check out, we've got, free webinars, articles. We've got our own podcast. Subscribe, check us out, and download, some of the free goodies. We have all kinds of free stuff you can get access to, and we're publishing every week, every month. And then you can learn more about our programs as well for fitness businesses, everywhere from startups to, multi-location owners. You can learn all about that under programs on our website, npefitness.com.
Awesome. And then that link will be in the show notes. Just go to trainergym.net. And if you can't remember that link, and it will be in the show notes for this episode. Sean, this has been great. I really appreciate it, man.
Okay. My pleasure, Jim. Take care, everybody. Have a great day.
You too. All righty. Bye.